Shikha Ahmad. Architect, singer, writer. Born, 25th of January, 1974. Rajshahi, Bangladesh. Hobby, travel and explore historical places, plant collection, reading and writing. Prime interest, music. Favorite place, Havana and Prague. Living in Toronto, Canada. Transit of Venus. Venus is known to be the goddess of love, beauty, sex and fertility in Roman mythology. In the 3rd century BC, Romans identified that Venus was equivalent to the Greek goddess Aphrodite. The Birth of Venus is a 1486 world-famous painting by Sandro Botticelli. In this picture, the goddess is illustrated emerging from the sea as a fully grown beautiful woman and arriving at the seashore on a seashell off a huge oyster. There are many Neoplatonic explanations of this famous painting given by Roman historians. According to some historians, this scene of the painting was inspired by the text in the Homeric hymn published in Florence in 1488. Of August gold-wreathed and beautiful. Aphrodite I shall sing, to whose domain belong the battlements of all sea loved. Cyprus where, blown by the moist breath of Zephyrus, she was carried over the waves of resounding sea on soft foam. The gold-filleted houri happily welcomed her and clothed her with heavenly raiment. Birth of Venus by Sandro Botticelli. In the Platonic Academy, Venus was portrayed from two aspects. 1. She was an earthly goddess who encouraged physical love in human beings, and 2. She was an angelic, celestial goddess who inspired intellectual love in them. Philosopher Plato later argued that contemplation of physical beauty allows mind to better perceive the spiritual beauty. Thus, looking at Venus, the most beautiful of all goddesses, might at first inflate a physical response, later it would elevate the mind towards the realm of divine love and to the Creator. In ancient Roman religion, holidays were celebrated in honor of Venus goddess. April was considered the sacred month for this goddess, as this is the month of spring. Spring refers to the ideas of rebirth, renewal and regrowth. In this month, nature becomes beautiful with new leaves, the blossom of plants, shrubs and trees bring color and lives in the environment. Vaneralia was the Venus festival on 1st April. Again, at the end of this month on 23rd of April, Romans celebrated the wine festival Vanalia Urbana, shared by goddess Venus and god Jupiter. Also, to honor Venus as the goddess of fertility and growth, Romans celebrated and rejoiced in autumn on 19th of August with another kind of wine festival. August is the month for harvesting, when nature is flooded with vegetables, grains and fruits. In some history and facts of ancient Rome, Venus was the wife of Vulcan, the god of fire. Though all the gods were charmed with her beauty and each one demanded her for his wife. Cupid, the god of love, is said to be the son of Venus, and Mars, the god of war. 2. Venus, as the brightest evening star. Besides the myth, let us now come to the facts of Venus. Why is Venus so beautiful that everybody is attracted by her? In reality, Venus is the second planet from the Sun in the solar system. It is brighter and bigger than any other planet seen in the sky on Earth. In astronomy, the term albedo is used to describe the brightness of a planet seen in the sky. Though Venus does not have any light of its own, it still seems to be the brightest because light coming from the Sun reflects 70% off the atmosphere of Venus. On the other hand, if we compare it with the Moon, maximum 10% light is reflected off the surface of Moon. So, even in the full moonlit night, its albedo is only 0.1 and albedo of Venus is 0.7. One of the main reasons behind this reflection is Venus has sulfuric acid in its atmosphere. Sunlight is reflected smoothly on the droplets and the crystals of this acid, but Moon has only stones and mountains, so less light is reflected from the rough surface of Moon. Besides sulfuric acid, the atmosphere of Venus consists of 96% carbon dioxide, 3% nitrogen and some other gas. Venus is also known as the twin sister of our planet Earth because of its size, mass and some other similes. Diameter of Venus is 104 kilometers, which is only 650 kilometers less than that of Earth. Its mass is about 81.5% of Earth's mass, and the gravitational pull is almost 90% of Earth's gravitational pull. So, anything weighs 10 kilograms on Earth will weigh 9 kilograms on Venus approximately. The pressure at the planet's surface is 92% of the Earth's surface, which is equivalent to the pressure at a depth of 1 kilometer under Earth's ocean. Though astronomers just call it as our sister planet, there are some dissimilarities among these two planets also. Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system, though it is the second planet. Mercury is the closest one. Because of the close proximity to the Sun, Mercury lacks any atmosphere. But Venus has its atmosphere, full of carbon dioxide, which is one of the primary greenhouse gases, acts as a one-way door. Light coming from the Sun can enter through the layer of carbon dioxide gas, absorbed by the surface, emits energy in the form of heat, and this heat cannot go back to the space through the shield of carbon dioxide later. So gradually the surface gets hotter and can reach up to 400 degrees Celsius or even more during its daytime. The other reason to gain such heat is its very long daytime period. Venus takes almost 243 Earth days to rotate on its orbit to make day and night, so its surface gets sunlight for almost 118 Earth days long. But it takes only 224.65 Earth days to orbit the Sun. It means one Venus full day is longer than one Venus year. And interestingly enough, the rotation of Venus is retrograde rotation compared to the other planets in the solar system. Most of the planets rotate counterclockwise while Venus rotates clockwise as viewed from above Sun's north pole. So, if we were in Venus, we could see the Sun rises in the west and sets in the east. 3. Venus, the planet, which is an evening star to us right now, is the third brightest object seen in the sky at this time of the year after the Sun and the Moon. Starting from the end of April till the first week of May this year, Venus was at its brightest position. During this time the planet was so bright that it could create shadow on Earth's surface. Again, after the Sun and Moon, Venus is the third natural object in the sky that can create shadow on Earth's surface. Some of the reporters reported it as a UFO, unidentified flying object. Scientists describe this event as the greatest brilliancy for Venus. It would be seen as a crescent if we look through a telescope or a strong binocular, though from a naked eye it seems to be a bright round star. In general, it is the brightest when we see only 1/4 of the planet as a crescent. During last month it was seen almost 28% as a crescent, that's why it seems so bright. Gradually the shape and the size are decreasing exactly the same way the Moon decreases during its waning crescent, when it is changing from full moon to new moon. The evening star was seen throughout the whole month for hours after the Sun set in the west sky. One of the main reasons behind the brightness of Venus during this time is the distance of Venus from Earth. This distance is not a fixed one and it depends on the relative position of these two planets in their own elliptical orbits. When Venus is at the same side of the Sun where Earth is, the distance is less, which could be minimum 38 million km. This is the closest position that any planet comes to Earth. Again, when it is on the opposite side of the Sun than Earth, it is at its farthest distance, which could be maximum 261 million km. So, at that position, even if we see the full-sized Venus, due to its distance the brightness is less, it is rather dull. Later we don't see it for few days when passes behind the Sun. Now, Venus is at the same side where Earth is, so despite of its crescent shape, due to its close proximity we see it in its brightest look. Within few days we would be able to see another astronomical rare event in our sky. Venus will be seen crossing over the Sun, which we know as the transit of Venus. This will happen on June 6, 2012. Comparing with the Moon again, it is the same phenomenon as the solar eclipse when Moon crosses in between the Sun and Earth and we see Moon's shadow casts on Earth. But during the transit of Venus we won't see any shadow of Venus on Earth's surface because of the relative size of Venus in the sky compared to the Sun. The actual diameter of Venus is almost 4 times than that of Moon, which is only 474 kilometers, and its actual size is almost 50 times of the Moon. Still, Moon is very close to us compared to Venus, and that is the reason for the shadow of Moon during the eclipse. During the transit, Venus would be seen as a small sphere passing on the disk of the Sun. It will be on the upper part of Sun's disk. The whole transit will take almost 6 hours, and this is the time when Venus will move from the west sky to the east sky. The evening star would then become the morning star. The transit of Venus will be seen very well from the western Pacific Ocean and its adjacent lands. Viewers in North America will be able to see the start of the transit on June 5 evening, while the viewers of East Asia, South Asia, the Middle East and East Africa will see the end of the transit on June 6 after sunrise. Transit of Venus. The last transit of Venus happened on June 8, 2004, just 8 years back. But it is not at all a common event that might happen in every 8 years. The next transit will occur on 2117 December, and then the next will be on 2025 December. The transit occurs in pattern which repeats every 243 years, with pairs of transits 8 years apart, separated by a long gap of 121.5 years and 105.5 years. The reason behind the long gap for the transit is, the inclination of Venus's elliptical orbit and Earth's orbit are not in the same angle. The orbit of Venus is 3.4 degrees to that of Earth. So, every time Venus crosses in between the Sun and Earth, we don't see a transit. It only occurs when the Sun, Venus and Earth all are in the same plane on the same linear position. 4. German mathematician, philosopher and scientist Johannes Kepler calculated mathematically the orbit of Venus and for the first time declared the transit of Venus of 1631. But he died in 1630 and could never see the transit. In the ancient time, people used to consider the evening star and the morning star as two different planets seen from Earth. Ancient Greek used to call the evening star as Hesperus and the morning star as Phosphorus. Greek philosopher Pythagoras first established the truth that the evening star and the morning star are the same planet, though there is no evidence if he had mentioned about the transit of Venus. Transit of Venus is not only a rare event of cosmic crossing in the solar system, it also has a significant importance in astronomy and science. Astronomers were able to come to many solutions and calculated the distance from Earth to the Sun and Earth to Venus, observing the transit of Venus from different position of Earth. During the 18th and 19th centuries, astronomers had the best opportunities for measuring the absolute scale of the solar system by using Kepler's third law. Don't miss this rare cosmic event. Translated by the author.